Hello everyone and welcome back to Excel VBA tutorial series. In our today's chapter we will talk about the do while loop, and as a part of our demonstration we will use the following example which you can see on the Excel workbook that I've got loaded up right here. So we've got a list of items over here and we've got the price for each item. What we're looking at towards the end of the loop, we should have an overall sum of all the items combined in the cell range of D2. So let's start off with the do while loop, and in order to demonstrate that, let's jump down to the developers tab and Visual Basic. So to start off with, you may want to create a sub procedure. Let's name it sub do while loop. You may want to define an integer, you may want to define an object. Let's say x equal to 2, since the loop we'd like to start from will be from row number 2, because row number 1 obviously has got the headers. Let's set my workbook equal to this workbook dot sheets do while loop dot cells. Do not get confused, do while loop is nothing but my sheet name, so it could be anything. Yeah. Now this is how pretty much you start a do while loop. You say do while my workbook, which is assigned to this workbook dot sheets dot cells, my workbook x, which is my row number 2, comma 2 column. So I'm saying do while row number 2 and column number 2, which is column B. So starting from this cell that contains a value of 10, dot value does not equal to blank. So what this means is you keep running a loop unless you find a blank cell. So the loop will only end once the value of x reaches 8, because that's when the row number 8 would come and the loop will fail, which means the loop will end. So as a part of this loop, we may also want to define something to sum the values up for us. So let's say sum total as single. Let's say sum total equal to sum total plus my workbook x, which is the row where the loop is currently running on, column 2, which is column B, dot value. So we're keeping on increasing the value of sum total as the loop keeps running. So the first time the loop runs, the value will be 10. The second time it runs, the value will be 10 plus 15, which is 25. The third time when it runs, it will be 25 plus 35, which should be about 60, and so on. So also at the end of the loop, you may want to, just before the loop ends, you may want to increase the value of x. So you'll say x equal to x plus 1. What this would do is the moment the function reaches the loop, it will start from here again, but it will increase the value of x, which means the row number will automatically increase because we have assigned the integer x as the row number. So this loop will help us increase the rows every time it runs. So the first time it runs, the row will be number 2. The second time it runs, it will be 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. Finally it will be row number 8. That's when our loop will fail, because that's when we will no longer have a value that is not blank, because we're saying do while only until the value isn't blank. As soon as it's blank, the loop will fail. Perhaps on row 8 the loop will fail. So we've got a function pretty much just at the end. Let's say range d2 dot value equal to sum total. So now let's just jump down to this. Let's insert a button quickly. Let's say extract. Let's assign a macro to the sub procedure that we've just created, and yep, I've got it right here. Let's try running this right now. As you can see, it's already completed its execution, and it's given us an outcome, a sum total of 525. Let's just run a sum formula to understand whether it's worked out the way it's supposed to. And yep, there we go guys. This is how pretty much we use the do while loop. It's